Hi everybody! At the 2016 Merle Fest in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, I talked with the lead singer of the Waybacks, Mr. James Nash. We talked about everything from playing with Bob Weir to all of his musical projects, to being a father, and even the Hillside Album Hour. Listen on to see what I had to ask. I'm here with Mr. James Nash, the lead singer of the Waybacks. Welcome to the show.
Oh, hey, thank you.
So, I know that you, as well as other members of the band, have played with Bob Weir. What was this like?
Yes. Oh, I mean, it's almost hard to describe. I mean, you're hanging out with somebody who has lived through, the most significant periods of rock music and hung out with every legend in the book. So, yeah, I mean, the thing about Weir is he's just all about the music, and he just wants to play, and he doesn't talk enough. Like, that was the most frustrating thing, is you kind of want to just sit there and have him tell you stories, and he just wants to play, and I admire him for that.
So I know with the Hillside Album Hour tomorrow, everyone's wondering what it's going to be. I was just wondering, how do you decide what the album is?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a band decision, so, we've been a band for a long time, and it's so much work that we kind of just have one rule about the album hour, and that is that everybody has to love the choice. And we've had a number of times where like three of us really wanted to do something and the other guy's like, I don't know, and we had to throw it out because we feel like it's just not fair to ask somebody to put that much effort into something if they're not truly a part of it. So every time we get up there and do it, I do feel like the whole band is fully behind it, which gives it sort of extra power.
So I was wondering who came up with the clues and how they figured out to make them so tricky.
Oh yeah, well Joe is probably our bass player. He's probably our clue master. We all chip in the clues here and there, but Joe makes 3 times as many clues as anybody else because he loves to just sit around and think of crazy stuff to stump people.
Okay, so is there an album you absolutely positively would never do for Hillside Album Hour?
Never do for Hillside. We would never do one of our own albums, like that for sure. We've had a few people say that, they're like, are you kidding me, That's not the spirit of it at all. That's a really interesting question. There are a few albums that we love that we were kind of worried about the lyrical content of them and whether they would be appropriate at Merle Fest, because it is kind of a family festival, But for the most part, there's so many great albums out there. We feel like we could do this event for a long time.
Okay. Which album was your favorite to do so far?
Oh, they've almost gone in order for me because I feel like we've really kind of keep trying to raise the bar on what we do with the show and making it more of a concept and have more ideas and more depth and make the album more our own. I feel like the first couple of albums, we more played them and didn't really interpret them as much, and now we're really trying to take the album as a starting point. And so I was particularly proud of Born in the USA last year because, again, I feel like we added our own meaning to it. And it's not necessarily what Springsteen meant, and it's not that we made the album better or worse, we just made it different, but it made it more us. And that really felt good. And I think we're going to do that again this year. I think that this album this year, we've really tried to put our own ideas into it in a way that I hope people resonate.
Did you have a least favorite album you've ever done?
Least favorite album? Yeah, the least favorite album was Sticky Fingers because they cut us off, damn it. No, they did. That was back in the early days. It was our second year, and Album Hour literally meant an album. And it's really hard to play an album's worth of material in an hour live, especially when you start jamming on it. And so we were out there just having a good time with the Rolling Stones. Next thing you know, they were telling us that we had to pull the plug, so we didn't get to finish the album. So that made it kind of sad. But that's the only album that we haven't gotten to finish the whole thing. And now, we've got a lot of songs to play tomorrow, but we got to finish it. There's just no way because everyone it's kind of going to tell a story, and I'm excited about that.
Right. So I know you guys just recently had a baby. How does being a father affect your music?
Wow. I think being a father just affects the way you look at the world. I think this is one of those things that I think that you probably don't appreciate until you have a kid. But there are these very rare events in life that really make the whole world look different to you, and that was what having a kid did to me. And it's so perfect for Merle Fest too, because this is a family festival, and so I feel like if you come here, there's some of the best music in the world, but if the only thing you appreciate here is the music, that you're missing half of Merle Fest, because half of what goes on here is community. I mean, it's people who camp together, and kids who are playing and painting their faces and learning to dance for the first time and stuff. So, and I think that maybe you wouldn't appreciate that if you weren't a parent. But there's a whole side of Merle Fest that is really, the music is just kind of the background, and then there's life going on around it, you know?
So you're involved in 3 projects currently.
I kind of do a little bit of a lot of stuff, but yeah, which ones did you find on me? You were digging up dirt.
Yeah, James Nash and the Nomads.
Yeah.
James Nash and the Nashvillians and the Waybacks.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
wondering which one was your favorite.
Oh, I mean, nothing's like the Waybacks. I mean, because these are, you know, I've been in the Waybacks longer than I've been in any project for my whole life. So, you know, the Waybacks have been together for 15 years. So there's nothing that substitutes that. And it's, you know, it's just like any other friend that you feel like you've been through a big chunk of your life with. You know, the number of times that we've spent on the road, stuck somewhere late at night in a storm, or our plane got canceled, or we couldn't find anything to eat. And, you know, it's just like all these little things that happen to you when you're out traveling with people. It ends up, when you're up there playing music, there's more going on than just the music. There's all that time that you spent together and the friendships that build over that time.
So, as a touring musician, what are some of the unglamorous parts of touring?
Just about everything except being on stage. You know, it's, I think it was Norman Blake once who said that he played for free, but he got paid to travel.
Sam Bush said the same thing.
Yeah, you know, everybody quotes everybody on that because it's just 100% true. You know, but it's not. It's also not anything that you should whine about, because I feel like if you don't enjoy it, do something else. You know, there are easier ways to kind of find a job and make a living than there are making music. But I don't think there's any that are any more rewarding. And if you love playing music, you go out and do it, and you don't think about how hard it is, because the rewards are so great. You know, you get to do something that you love and share it with other people, and occasionally make some money at it. And it's like, hey, I mean, how could life be any better than that?
So your music draws from a huge selection of, like, a catalog.
It does.
So what's the last thing you listened to on the radio?
The last thing I listened on the radio. Well, see, now the problem is, so one of the local radio stations that I really like in San Francisco is called K-Fog, and they just got purchased by another corporate entity and fired like 3 of my friends and favorite DJs. So I have not been listening to any good radio in the past couple of weeks. I love listening to Martin Anderson on WNCW. I love listening to K-Pig Radio down in Santa Cruz, although they've had the same problem. I mean, when you say the word radio to an artist, you're probably going to get the hairs go up on the back of their neck, because they think about how threatened radio is, sort of as an entity. So I feel like the best music I've heard recently has been stuff that friends have said, hey, listen to this. And it makes me sad that I'm not getting exposed to as much great radio. But like I said, you guys are really lucky to have such a good station, you know, in this area that sponsors the festival. WNCW, you know, we've played on the air there, oh gosh, 4 or 5 times, and every time just feel lucky to be part of that community. And sadly, that where I live in San Francisco, we don't have that right now. We don't have a great local radio station, as big a city as it is, and that's something that I don't think it's my role in this world to do that. I don't think I'm going to start a radio station, but somebody needs to, and every community needs that, because it's so important.
So I know with, like, the recent passing of Prince and David Bowie, that must have been like a blow to your music. What was this like?
Yeah, well, I mean, we played a set today, and we dedicated some songs to Merle Haggard and to David Bowie, and Levon Helm, who passed away a few years ago, but I can't stop dedicating songs to him. And I think we had one other in there. I remember. Oh, right, for Paul Kantner of the Jefferson Airplane, but yeah, you know. It has been a really, really hard year for that. So, you know, B.B. King passed away this year, Alan Toussaint passed away, Glenn Frey, Maurice White from Earth, Wind & Fire. I mean, it's just, yeah. And I think all you can do is just keep playing the music and go on. And I'll give you a little hint about the album hour. You're going to be hearing some more music from people who have recently passed tomorrow, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're really going to try to dedicate some things to some people who absolutely deserve it and who have changed, you know, not just changed music, but changed people's lives. Because that's what great bands and great artists do. They don't just write great songs and inspire other musicians. They change everybody's life, and they make the world different. So it's going to be fun tomorrow.
All right. So my podcast is called I Had to Ask. What question do you wish journalists had to ask you in interviews?
That is a weird question. What question do I wish they had to ask me? What I wanted to be asked. I think I do a little bit of the politician thing. I think in that I sort of talk about what I want to, even if I'm not asked it. But I could say something obnoxious like I wish that they'd ask me like what we should buy or what's our latest record you're promoting, or actually, okay. In all seriousness, the question I wish they would ask is, where are you playing next? Because I always forget to tell people, and I always end up getting off the radio, and my manager like smacks me and says, "You were supposed to talk about our show in Asheville next week," and I go, "Oh," because I just like to talk about the music and stuff. But it is true, like you have to have a following in order to do this, and it's easy to get so absorbed in the music and the people that you forget about. Oh, I got to be out there promoting these shows, and I think that's what I think I have in common with a lot of the musicians, in that that's not something I'm good at. Some people are good at self-promotion, and it's never been something that I really wanted to do. But I look at that, talk about the not glamorous parts of music. That's the not glamorous part of music for me. The glamorous part is getting to play your music, getting to write your music, getting to record your music, getting to, just looking at your interview here with Sam. Getting to play with people like Sam. Like when I was growing up, Sam was my hero, and now he's my friend, and I get to make music with him every round. That's what's so cool about music. So yeah, I wish you'd ask me who I'm voting for president, and I'd say Sam Bush. Thank you very much.
Yes, please. If you could go back in time and give a younger you advice, what would you say?
Oh. I would say, it's going to sound really, really kind of trite, but appreciate every day, because the more you live, the more you have experiences where suddenly somebody's gone, or suddenly even something as simple as, a venue just shut down, and you realize you didn't really appreciate how great it was to play that place until now it's gone, or a radio station is gone, or even a whole festival shuts down. It's like, we don't know. I hope Merlefest is here for 50 more years, but we don't know. And so don't treat this Merlefest like it's Merlefest 2016 and I'm ready for Merlefest 2017. Treat it like, this is going to be the best weekend of your life because it's this weekend. So yeah, I'm definitely a carpe diem kind of guy.
What advice do you have for young musicians?
Make sure you love what you do, because I think I'd give that advice to not just musicians, but anybody doing anything, it's hard to be good at stuff. It's hard to be good at anything. And the only way to be good at stuff is to put in a preposterous amount of time that you could never make yourself do. So if you want to be a musician, make sure you love it. And if you don't love it and you just sort of have fun with it, then hey, everybody needs hobbies too. But some people just feel like they're just born to make music. And if you feel that in your heart and you just know that you were made to make music, then don't let anybody stop you.
What's your next venue you're playing?
Next venue, I'm taking about a month off. I'm not performing in the whole. I'm going to kind of take paternity leave because I've got a 1-month-old kid, and I've had a crazy month. But this next month, I'm not doing a whole lot. I'm teaching some kids. I'm coaching baseball, and I love coaching Little League, so I can't stop that. I can't take that off. But everything else, I'm pretty much stopping for about a month. I'm going to hang out with my little kid. And then I've got a show coming up at the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco, and I've got another one at the Sweetwater in Mill Valley. But no traveling, and I'll be sleeping in my own bed for those. So I'm looking forward to being a little bit of a Bay Area homebody for a couple months.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell my listeners?
No, just keep on listening, because Lillian asks great questions, and she's if you haven't met her, you need to meet her, because she's really cool, and she wears Grateful Dead paraphernalia, so I liked her from the very beginning.
Thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely.
I hope you enjoyed this interview with James as much as I enjoyed interviewing him. As a side note, the Hillside Album Hour was the Eagles' greatest hits